Welcome to Tobar's Realm. Today I'm going to try to make a little fire canister out of this old irrigation pump cover. I ended up taking it off. I cut it down the side of it to get it off of the motor to scavenge the copper off of it. And I think I'm going to continue these little vent holes, put them around the rest of it, and then I'll build like a little grate to put inside of there that charcoal can sit on. I can just load charcoal in the top, light it, and then I'll make a thing for the top so you can set like a cooking surface on top of there. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is drill some holes, like measure out these air holes, drill it top and bottom, and then probably use the grinder to just cut those little things out. So I'm going to start measuring those out. Alright, so I got the holes drilled. Now I'm just going to cut them on each side there with the angle grinder and attempt to make them as similar to these as possible. Hopefully that wheel will fit in that small area without cutting too much into the each end there. So do that next. And I'm just going to leave this hole. That's where the electrical wires went through there, so that'll work. Alright, so I got the holes done on this. They're not great, but I don't have the right tools or patience to try to do it perfect. I don't think the fire will care either way, but I did get those holes all the way around. Got that seam just ground off a little bit, so when I try to weld it together, that'll be fun. This is, I don't know, maybe 14 gauge, 16, 14 maybe. So I hope I don't burn through it. I'll have to be careful. But I just drew a circle there for the inner diameter of it, because what I want to do is make a little like grill insert made out of like 3/16 steel rod. And then I'm also going to, where'd it go? There it is. I'm going to use this giant washer for the inside and then run some supports and then another. I'll make a ring out of the, maybe I'll use a 1/4 inch, I don't know. If I put 2 in here, I'll use like the 3/16. If I decide to do 1, I'll use the 1/4 inch. And then on the bottom of this, I'll just drill some holes, put a bolt through it, so it's like a peg sticking into it, so that this grill can sit on top of it. And then that's what I'll load the briquettes on top of. So just gonna get this pattern figured out and then start messing with the steel rod and drill the holes for the pegs. So here's the pattern I decided to go with. I got where I'm gonna put that washer in the middle. I'll make a ring to go around the outside, and then just some like spokes, and just weld them to the washer and to that ring. I started making that loop. I decided to go with the 3/16 rod. I tried bending it when it was cold and it was not working that great, so I just heated it up with the weed burner, got it pretty much to a circle. So I'm gonna cut that off and mess with it with a little bit more manageable size with it. Maybe wherever I cut it, somewhere there probably, get the circle about the right size and then kind of work it to get it to a circle. I got the ring made and that fits in there pretty good, about right. So I'm just gonna try to tack that together with the weld. Okay, I got that ring welded together. I'm not a great welder by any means, so the fact that I didn't destroy it is a win for me. So now I need to cut some spokes for this. They're going to be 2 inches. So I'm going to do that and start working on those. Alright, well, I got this welded up, and I am not a very good welder, but it is together. Every time I weld it, it's a learning experience, so can't complain. And then I have this little panel of metal that I'm not sure what I got it off of, but let's put some bolts through it to make some legs. I think that could just sit right on there like that, keep it off of the ground, whatever's below it. So now I think I'm going to tack this together with some welds, drill those holes for those pegs to sit in. Okay, I got them bolts in there and I got it welded, but I'm not going to show it. I'm embarrassed. It's horrible, but it is together. Now I'm going to work on something for the top. I got this hardware from an old table I scavenged it off of. This is just that like 90-degree angle support for the legs, and I'm gonna just like mount it to the top. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut a channel out of it so it doesn't block the airflow. I'm going to do that next, and then bolt it to it right in the middle, because it's kind of angled like that, so I think it'll kind of act like a lock washer. If I drill through it, put a bolt through it, tighten it down, it'll have pressure on it. So that's what I'm going to do next. Alright, well, I think I got it basically done. I got those things cut and mounted on there. Got that thing on the inside. I'm a little worried about these. It's like super soft metal, so hopefully it doesn't get too hot and then just bend. But if it does, I'll change it for something else. But I think the next step is just to load it with some charcoal and fire it up and see what happens. Well, I lit it and just threw a few little twigs and kindling in there just to help it get going, but just waiting for the coals to start smoldering. Then I'll throw a pan on there and just see if it continues to work. This thing's been running for about an hour and the wind died down. Man, that's doing a nice steady flame. I just loaded it with charcoal briquettes. They were match light briquettes. If I were going to do it again, I'd use not match light, just regular charcoal briquettes, because they like all catch on fire and stink like fuel. Maybe just to get it going, but I wouldn't load it with it if I were going to cook something. Thanks for watching. Till next time.